so I can put it on my refrigerator anytime I open the
You want him to
refrigerator up.
record this voice for you so you can to it every night.
There's something about Dr. Proctor. Okay, those dimples and those eyes.
A night colder than Fear the Winter Night in Dixon was unforgiving. Colder than anyone could remember. Snow fell in slow, quiet spirals, blanketing the streets in white silence, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Inside the hospital, that silence was shattered. Machines beeped sharply. Footsteps rushed past. Voices whispered prayers that trembled with fear. Amy Slaton, beloved sister, mother, and the woman millions had watched fight her battles, lay motionless on a hospital bed. Her skin was pale, almost colorless, her breathing faint and uneven. Tubes ran from her body like fragile lifelines, each one humming with urgency. Tammy Slaton sat beside her. Her hand clutched Amy's, cold, lifeless, terrifyingly still. Tammy's tears fell freely, soaking the blanket, her chest heaving as though every sob might break her in two. "Please," Tammy whispered, her voice shaking. "Amy, wake up. You can't leave me."
Not now.
Not like this. But Amy did not move. Just moments earlier, the doctor had delivered words that sliced through the family like ice. "Her heart is blocked," he said solemnly, "most likely caused by extreme cold exposure. We need to operate immediately. The surgery is very high risk." Then came the words no one was prepared for. "The baby's condition is also critical." The hallway outside the room filled with grief. Misty stood close to Amanda, both women clinging to each other for strength. Chris paced back and forth, his hands running through his hair, his face tight with fear. They were strong people, fighters, but this moment threatened to undo them all. Amy's children were not there. They were home, asleep, unaware that their mother's life hung by a thread. And at the far end of the hallway stood Brian Lovehorn, alone, his back pressed against the wall, hands buried deep in his pockets, eyes fixed on the floor as though it might swallow him whole. His face looked hollow, drained of color and hope. For months, Brian had been distant. Their marriage had cracked under pressure, arguments, exhaustion, fear of responsibility, and the weight of Amy's high-risk pregnancy. He had told himself he was holding things together, but deep down, he knew he had been pulling away. Now, seeing Amy lying unconscious, balanced between life and death, something inside him shattered. But still, he didn't move. He believed the family blamed him. And perhaps, worst of all, he blamed himself. Back inside the room, Tammy brushed Amy's hair gently off her forehead, her fingers trembling. "You're strong," Tammy whispered. "You've survived worse than this. You're needed. Your baby needs you. I need you." Her tears fell onto Amy's palm like silent prayers. The door opened. The doctor returned, his face unreadable. "We're ready," he said quietly. Nurses moved quickly, disconnecting wires, adjusting equipment. The bed began to roll toward the operating room. The family followed. Everyone, except Brian. He stood frozen, battling fear, guilt, and shame. His chest felt tight, his throat burning. As the bed passed him, he finally lifted his eyes and saw Amy's face up close.
Weak. Still.
Fighting. "Wait," Brian croaked. The word barely escaped his lips. He stepped forward, then hesitated. A firm hand landed on his shoulder. Chris leaned in and whispered, "Go to her. She's your wife." Brian swallowed hard and nodded. Slowly, cautiously, he walked to the bed and reached out, taking Amy's hand for the first time that night. His voice broke. "I'm sorry," he whispered, "for everything. Please don't leave me. I love you. Please come back." For a brief moment, the heart monitor beeped faster, as if she heard him. The family stood together in silence, bound by love, fear, and desperate hope, as the doors of the operating room closed behind Amy. Hours passed. Each minute stretched endlessly. Snow continued to fall outside, as if the world mourned with them. Finally, the surgeon emerged. The hallway fell silent. Brian stepped forward, his legs shaking. Tammy held her breath. Every heartbeat felt like an eternity. The doctor opened his mouth. Elsewhere, under dim lights as night settled over Windsor Lane Rehab Facility, the fluorescent hallway lights dimmed, casting long shadows along the walls. Tammy Slaton sat near a large window in her motorized wheelchair, watching the sunset bleed into dusk. Orange and purple streaked the sky, soft and calm, so unlike the storm inside her heart. Caleb rolled his chair toward her slowly. "Hard day?" he asked gently.
Tammy sighed.
"Hard week. Every time we try to talk, someone walks in. A nurse, a staff member, a vitals check. We can't even have 5 minutes alone." Caleb smiled sadly. Not exactly how we imagined our first year of marriage. Tammy gave a short laugh. Unless the honeymoon includes nurses every 15 minutes. They sat quietly, listening to distant footsteps and the hum of machines. Caleb reached for her hand. "I miss us," he said. "Just us."
No cameras. No interruptions.
Tammy's eyes softened, but frustration lingered.
We're married, she said.
But here, we're patients first. Everything else comes second. Caleb nodded. How are we supposed to grow like this? Tammy turned her chair to face him fully. Sometimes I just want to cry, without someone watching. I know, Caleb replied quietly. They even read the note I tried to give you. Tammy rolled her eyes. Exactly. Caleb glanced down the hallway. A nurse was busy at the desk. The corridor was quiet. Come with me, he whispered. Tammy raised an eyebrow. Where? Somewhere no one bothers us. Moments later, they reached the therapy garden, a small, rarely used space beneath the stars. Cool air brushed their faces. Tammy felt her shoulders relax. This is peaceful, she murmured. For the first time in weeks, they weren't patients. They were just a couple. I just want to feel normal, Tammy said, resting her head on Caleb's shoulder. We will, he promised. Even here. They sat in silence. True silence. Morning comes as the morning sun lit the Slaton family kitchen. Chris's laughter echoed through the house, signaling another day of chaos, love, and survival. Life somehow moved forward. The unseen chaos, laughter, and dreams of the Slaton sisters. There was too much calm in the house. That kind of calm usually meant one thing. Chris was up to something. Amy paused mid-step in the kitchen, her hand frozen over the counter. She frowned. Why is it so quiet? Tammy, rolling past the doorway, arched an eyebrow. That's never a good sign. Last time it was quiet, Chris tried to fix the washing machine and flooded the porch. Before either of them could move, bang. The sound echoed through the house. Amy gasped. Oh my God. Chris discovered something new. Tammy sighed dramatically. I swear, if he brings home another strange animal, I'm calling the police. The front door burst open. Chris stormed inside like a victorious warrior, gripping a garden hose like a weapon, wearing a cracked bicycle helmet and sporting mismatched socks that didn't belong to any known pair. I have defeated the bees, he announced proudly. Amy blinked. Chris, were there bees here? Not before, he panted. Now there were. I tried relocating their colony. They disagreed. He dropped the hose. It immediately sprayed straight into Tammy's face. Chris, Tammy screamed. I just finished my makeup. Chris nearly collapsed laughing. Consider it a waterproof test. Slaton Family Fitness Day. A mistake. Later that afternoon, Chris decided everyone needed to get in shape. He rolled a yoga mat into the living room like he was unveiling a national fitness program. I call it Slaton Family Fitness Day. Amy groaned. You tore your pants last time. And I'll do it with pride again, Chris saluted. They started stretching. When Chris bent forward, his back cracked so loudly the room went silent. Amy stared. Are you okay? Chris nodded thoughtfully. I think I just discovered a new bone. Tammy nearly fell out of her wheelchair laughing. That's not how bodies work. Then came the jump. Chris jumped. Chris landed. The couch did not survive. The great chili disaster by afternoon, Chris announced he was cooking dinner. This was mistake number 3 of the day. I'm making my famous chili. Amy leaned toward Tammy and whispered, "His chili once set off the smoke alarm." "And scared 2 neighbors," Tammy added. Chris turned on the heat before adding anything, dropped the tomatoes, burned the onions, spilled the meat, and yelled, "Who stole my spoon?"
He was holding it.
Amy snapped a photo. Evidence. When the chili was finally served, the saucepan slipped, splashing everywhere. "At least it smells good," Chris said proudly. Tammy sniffed. "It smells like foot odor." The TikTok incident that night, Chris decided he was going viral. He wore a cowboy hat, sunglasses, confidence. He balanced his phone on a stack of books. "Y'all, I'm about to break the internet." The music started. Chris danced. If a penguin slipped on ice and panicked, that was the vibe. Amy and Tammy laughed instantly. Mid-dance, Chris kicked the table. The phone fell.
Chris dove for it.
Chris fell with it. Amy screamed, laughing. "You hit the floor like a bowling ball." The house was wrecked. Makeup ruined. Couch destroyed. Kitchen smelled suspicious. But everyone was smiling. "Chris," Amy said, wiping tears from her eyes, "you're a whole circus." "But you make life fun," Tammy added. Chris grinned proudly. Someone's gotta entertain. What the cameras never showed when 1,000-pound sisters began filming, viewers thought they saw everything. They didn't. Behind the scenes was even more chaos, humor, heart, and healing. Before filming began, Amy and Tammy sat in their cluttered Kentucky living room. Amy laid a notebook on the table. "We need rules if they're gonna film us." Tammy raised an eyebrow. "The only rule I follow is don't run out of snacks." But they agreed on one thing. No matter what, they had each other. Deleted moments. Amy's first attempt at healthy vegetable stew never aired. It exploded. "Why does it smell like despair?" Tammy cried. Stew hit the ceiling. The walls. Tammy's slipper. Little Bit, the puppy, ran around like it was a crime scene. Tammy laughed for 2 days straight. Tammy's great escape. That didn't happen. One night, Tammy whispered dramatically, "I'm escaping. I'm a ninja." Amy caught her instantly. "Ninjas don't yell." "I'm a noisy ninja." They ended up eating pudding in the hallway until staff joined them. Grocery store chaos at the store. Tammy stared at Kale. "Kale is just lettuce that gave up on life." The entire aisle laughed. Strangers asked for selfies. Mr. Sprinkles the raccoon. Every night, something attacked the trash cans. Amy feared ghosts. Tammy named it Mr. Sprinkles. They caught him stealing marshmallows. "He has taste," Tammy nodded. The night that changed everything. Late one night, no cameras rolling, Tammy admitted her fears. "I'm scared of being alone, of failing." Amy held her hand. "You're not alone. Ever." They cried together. That moment changed everything. The London Dream. Morning sunlight filled the kitchen. Amy packed frantically. "We can't be late." Tammy rolled in, holding a notebook. Snacks. Chargers.
Meds.
CPAP. Snacks. Emergency snacks. You wrote snacks 3 times. Correct. Packing turned into chaos. Chris arrived with donuts and 0 help. London panic set in. "What if I don't fit on the seat?" Amy whispered. "We planned everything," Tammy reassured her. "And I got the aisle seat, so I don't have to climb over you." They laughed until they cried. The passports. Chris yelled from the kitchen. Top drawer. With the expired coupons. They were there. The night before that evening, Amy and Tammy sat outside watching the sunset. "Can you believe this?" Amy whispered. "No," Tammy said, wiping a tear. "But we deserve it." Amy squeezed her hand. "Let's go live that dream." And tomorrow, suitcases packed, hearts full, dreams bigger than fear. A new adventure awaited. Outro, channel style. Hi lovely viewers, and welcome to my channel. My name is Mina, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe. There was too much calm in the Slaton house. Not the peaceful kind. Not the relaxing kind. The dangerous kind. Amy froze in the middle of the kitchen, her hand hovering above the counter. The air felt suspiciously still. Why is it so quiet? She muttered. Tammy rolled past the doorway in her wheelchair and raised one eyebrow slowly. That silence only means one thing. Amy swallowed. Chris. Before either of them could react. Bang. The sound shook the walls. Amy gasped. Oh my God. Chris found something new. Tammy sighed deeply, already exhausted. I swear, if he brings home another strange animal, I'm calling the police. The front door burst open like an action movie entrance. Chris charged inside, wild-eyed and victorious, gripping a garden hose like a weapon, wearing a cracked bicycle helmet and rocking mismatched socks that didn't belong to any known pair. I have defeated the bees, he shouted. Amy blinked.
Chris.
Were there bees here? He bent over, breathing hard. Not before. Now there were. I tried to relocate their colony. They did not appreciate my leadership. He dropped the hose. Water sprayed directly into Tammy's face. Chris. Tammy screamed. I just did my makeup. Chris nearly collapsed laughing. Think of it as a waterproof durability test. Tammy wiped her face slowly. I hate it here. Slaton Family Fitness Day. A bad idea. Later that afternoon, Chris announced a new mission. Everybody needs to get in shape. He rolled a yoga mat into the living room like he was unveiling a revolutionary health program. I call it Slaton Family Fitness Day. Amy groaned instantly. You tore your pants last time. Chris saluted proudly. And I'll do it again if necessary. They started with light stretching. Chris bent forward.
Crack.
The sound echoed through the room. Everyone froze. Amy stared at him. Are you okay? Chris nodded thoughtfully. I believe I just unlocked a new bone. Tammy lost it. That's not how the human body works. Then came the jump.
Chris jumped.
Chris landed. The couch did not survive. The living room went silent. Amy whispered, We just lost a couch. Chris nodded solemnly. It died doing what it loved. The great chili disaster. By late afternoon, Chris decided to cook dinner. This was mistake number 3. I'm making my famous chili, he announced proudly. Amy leaned toward Tammy and whispered, His chili once set off the smoke alarm. And evacuated 2 neighbors, Tammy added. Chris turned on the heat before adding anything. Dropped the tomatoes. Burned the onions.
Spilled the meat.
Then he shouted, Who took my spoon? He was holding it. Amy snapped a photo. Proof. For later. When the chili was finally served, the saucepan slipped and splattered across the floor. At least it smells good, Chris said confidently. Tammy sniffed the air. It smells like foot odor and regret. The TikTok incident that evening, Chris decided he was going viral. He put on a cowboy hat, sunglasses. Confidence he absolutely did not earn. He balanced his phone on a shaky stack of books. Y'all, today's the day. The music started. Chris danced. His movements looked like a confused penguin slipping on ice. Amy and Tammy burst into laughter instantly. Halfway through, Chris kicked the table. The phone fell.
Chris dove for it.
Chris fell with it. Amy screamed, laughing. You hit the floor like a bowling ball. By the end of the night, the couch was broken, the kitchen smelled questionable, Tammy's makeup was ruined, but everyone was smiling. Amy wiped tears from her eyes. Chris, you're a whole circus. But you make life fun, Tammy added. Chris grinned proudly. Well, somebody's gotta be the entertainment. And just like that, another perfectly chaotic Slaton day came to an end. By the end of the night, the couch was broken, the kitchen smelled questionable, Tammy's makeup was ruined, but everyone was smiling. Amy wiped tears from her eyes. Chris, you're a whole circus. But you make life fun, Tammy added. Chris grinned proudly. Well, somebody's gotta be the entertainment. And just like that, another perfectly chaotic Slaton day came to an end. The pot began to hiss, then shake, then explode. Steam blasted upward like a volcano. Amy, Tammy yelled, Why does it smell like despair and burnt socks? The stew hit the walls, the ceiling, Tammy's slipper. Little Bit, their puppy, ran around the kitchen like it was a crime scene. Tammy laughed so hard she cried. She laughed for 2 days straight. Tammy's great escape. One quiet night in the rehab facility, Tammy leaned toward Amy and whispered dramatically, "I'm escaping." Amy froze. "What?" "I'm a ninja." Tammy rolled her wheelchair slowly into the hallway, whisper shouting, "Stealth mode." Amy immediately followed. Ninjas don't announce themselves. Tammy shrugged. "I'm a loud ninja." They didn't make it far. They ended up sitting in the hallway eating sugar-free pudding cups while staff members watched them in confusion.
No escape.
But a great memory. Grocery store chaos in a deleted shopping trip. Amy and Tammy went to the grocery store together. Everything was fine until the produce aisle. Tammy stared at a bunch of kale like it had personally offended her. "Kale," she said slowly, "is just lettuce that gave up on life." Amy lost it. So did the shoppers. By the time they reached checkout, strangers were laughing, clapping, and asking for selfies. The sisters left with groceries and a small fan club. MR, sprinkles for 1 full week. Something attacked the trash cans every night. Amy was convinced it was a ghost. Tammy disagreed. "That's the spirit of snacks," she said. One night, they finally caught the culprit. A plump raccoon. Mid-marshmallow theft. Tammy nodded respectfully. "He has taste." She named him Mr. Sprinkles. Rather than chasing him away, they waved goodbye as he disappeared into the night with their marshmallows. The moment that changed everything. Late one night, after filming stopped, Tammy sat quietly. The jokes were gone. The laughter faded. "I'm scared," she admitted softly. Amy turned toward her. "Of what?" "Of being alone," Tammy whispered. "Of failing. Of changing." Amy reached out and took her hand. "You're not alone," she said firmly. "Not today. Not ever." They cried together.
No cameras. No producers.
Just sisters. That was the moment everything shifted. The cleaning challenge. The producers asked them to clean the living room. Amy turned it into a competition. Fastest cleaner gets bragging rights. Tammy cracked her knuckles. "I'm not letting dust bunnies win." They cleaned like it was the Olympics. 30 minutes later, Tammy celebrated her victory with a dance and knocked over a lamp. They declared it symbolic. The secret backyard party at the end of season 1. The sisters threw a small, secret celebration. String lights. Music.
Grilled chicken.
Amy raised a cup. "To fresh starts," she said. "To past mistakes. And to doing this together." Tammy added proudly, "And to Mr. Sprinkles. May he steal forever." They laughed, hugged, and looked up at the stars. They weren't perfect, but they were moving forward, together.